What's up? This is your man Dre Mac, and on this video I'm going to do a reaction video to an old Comics Explained video about Sam Wilson. Why I believe he was always set up to be a secondary character and why no one believes in a Sam Wilson Captain America. I'm going to explain it, but the real question is, Alright, so I'm going to only react to the beginning of this because there's some things that Rob is saying that I don't agree with, and I'm going to explain my personal perspective on why Sam Wilson has always been a secondary character. He will always be looked at as a secondary character, and it's Marvel's fault, the reason why his solo series never took off, and this is coming from a comic book collector, reader's perspective. Let's go.
Guys, this is Rob, and welcome back to Comics Explained, where I make you an expert on comic books in 30 minutes or less. And in this video, I'm going to make you an expert on Sam Wilson, but only Sam Wilson as he was Captain America. Honestly, because at the moment, nobody really cares about Sam Wilson when he was Falcon.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to tell you why I believe nobody cared about Sam Wilson when he was Falcon. Main reason is that he's always been looked at as a secondary character. We go back to the beginning of when Falcon was first introduced. He was always introduced as a sidekick to Captain America. He was always looked at like that. So let's not forget his origins. So when you start a guy, not like how they did with Black Panther, where he was introduced in Fantastic Four, but when he was introduced, he was introduced into a way where you know that he's a main character. He's a solo character, and he's cool. Falcon has never, ever been cool. Let's keep going.
I say that because at the end of the episode 6, which is coming out this week, it's actually Tuesday that I'm recording this, I'm assuming Sam Wilson's going to become Captain America, and nobody cares about Sam Wilson when he's Falcon, right? Nobody's going to be Googling Sam Wilson as Falcon. They're going to be Googling Sam Wilson, Captain America. That's what they're looking for, and so that's what we're going to cover here. So one of the things to understand is that Sam Wilson becoming Captain America, as far as Rick Remender, the guy who did this, he thought it was just an inevitable result of what basically needed to be something that changed. The reality of this is there was an interview he did with Entertainment Weekly where he was asked why it was that he changed Captain America from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson, and he felt that it was necessary because for a long time it was always Steve Rogers, and most Marvel superheroes, most mainstream superheroes of Marvel were white guys, and so what he wanted to do was turn Captain America into a minority character, basically turn Sam Wilson into Captain America so people who were not white people could see themselves represented in comics and hold prominent positions.
Now, I'm going to absolutely disagree with the creator's perspective of this. And let me explain to you in this way. Now, I'm not trying to say that he didn't have the right, his heart wasn't in the right place, because that's disingenuous. His heart was in the right place because there is a factor where minority characters has never been prominent as a whole. There's been a couple guys here and there. You got your Black Panther, you got Luke Cage, Monica Rambeau, Storm. But as far as like a Sam Wilson or even a Rhodey James Rose, they were always looked at as a secondary character next to the prominent white character. Let's call a duck, right? Now, with Sam Wilson, he was always looked at, like I said before, as a secondary character. So him putting the moniker on him instead of elevating Falcon was a bad decision. And this is why. Number one, I don't believe it's racist for a white guy who's seen a white character throughout his whole life become a black character now. I don't think that's racist. I think that he has a legitimate argument. That's just like Black Panther turning into a white character. I believe that if you have Falcon Sam Wilson, then you need to tell a better story and elevate him into prominence. Let's be real. Sam Wilson has never been cool in the comics. Why? The man talks to birds. His superpower is connecting with birds. He's literally Marvel's Coco Beware.
Come on, y'all. Yeah.
So, in my perspective, once you tell a greater story for Sam Wilson where you care about him and his superpower isn't something like talking to birds, and you make him cool. Like, that's all you got to do is make this guy cool, put him in solo series, start getting him a roles gallery, make him a badass. Maybe, just maybe, he gets elevated to a point where you start looking at this guy in a different light. When you don't do it like that, and you give this guy the moniker of Captain America, a guy who's been around since the 1940s, that doesn't make him cool. In the minds of a black comic book reader, to me, it makes him look like a token black character. Now, I can say the same thing for Miles Morales. The difference is Miles Morales, with the name by himself, is not synonymous enough with Spider-Man. Because you're saying, oh, well, that's Miles Morales now. He's not even called Spider-Man, that's Miles, right? But when you say Spider-Man, you automatically think of Peter Parker. You never think of Miles Morales. So for Miles Morales to be elevated, you need to just either keep him as Miles Morales and don't call him Spider-Man, or call him something else besides Spider-Man and elevate him to a point. We know that he has, you know, the characteristics of Spider-Man. We know that he has a moveset similar to Spider-Man, but if you separate him enough and get him another name, then we don't think of him as a replacement or a token character like Spider-Man. Let's keep going.
Now, as you might expect, this created a bunch of backlash. And the backlash to Sam Wilson becoming Captain America really only ever came from three directions. The first is people who were just legitimately racist. The second is people, and this is probably one of the more interesting aspects, people who didn't agree with the idea of placing existing characters with minority characters. They considered it tokenism, and a lot of people kind of came across with that argument and saying, why not just give them their own series and then focus on that, right?
See, it is tokenism, and I'm gonna explain why. Because you have a prominent white character, and then you give him the role, you give that role to a black guy. What does that look like to the black reader? Like, seriously. So with a character like Storm, the reason why Storm is so popular, number one, she's one of the leaders of the X-Men, but they always put her in a role where she's more like so badass, and she's so intricate, and she's so prominent within the X-Men that you can make a solo series for her and nobody cares, because we know what she represents, right? With Sam Wilson, they never made him cool enough where you saying, this man is dope. He doesn't need to have the moniker of Captain America to be cool. He was never cool. They never wrote him to the point where you're like, damn, I'm really liking Sam Wilson. Yes, is he a black character who is, you know, always been in comics? Yes. But has he ever been cool enough, or have they ever wrote him in a way where you understand this character, you understand the motivations, and you're like, damn, I don't want him as Captain America, leave him as Falcon and elevate that. Let's keep going.
The character up in that way. Now, people who come from that perspective are people who usually don't read comics or didn't know anything about Sam Wilson, because in 1983 and 1984,
I disagree with that. I think the main fact is that yes, you do have people who don't read the comics and read the MCU. You know, they just you know, devour the MCU content, and that's it. At the same time, this is coming from a black reader, a black comic reader, a black comic collector who is saying they never, and Rob knows, and a lot of you guys know, they never made Sam Wilson really that cool for you to even give a damn about Sam Wilson. And that's probably the reason why his solo series in 1983 and 1984 never took off. Because you don't care about a character whose superpower is talking to a bird, and he's the sidekick of one of the founding members of the Avengers. Let's keep going.
Marvel tried that with a limited series as a test bed to see whether or not a solo series could work, and it didn't. Nobody really bought the limited series, and so a solo series never came to fruition. More recently, Marvel tried that after Sam Wilson was Captain America when he went back to being Falcon, and it still didn't do very well, right? I mean, it only ran for about 8 issues and then it was canceled due to low.
You wonder why. First of all, I believe it's a slap in the face to put a black guy in a white superhero moniker. For one, if again, I'm using Black Panther as an example, or let's just do it like this. Storm, you stop being Storm, and then a white character takes over the moniker of Storm. with all the same glitz and glamour as Storm, people would riot. So you gotta look at it from a white comic reader's perspective. Because we did it to Black Panther, we did it to Luke Cage, we did it to Storm. What do you think about somebody that's white is thinking when they see a black dude as Captain America? Like, seriously, I would be pissed if I was a white guy. That doesn't make me racist. That makes me care about my character. Why do you have to do my character like that? Of course, there's always an argument. Well, they gave the moniker to Bucky. Yes, they did. You know what I mean? They did it to U.S. Agent. Yes, they did. Who did they reverted right back to? After all of that stuff that they did it revert back to Steve Rogers? Yes, at the end of the day. And just like this, at the end of the day, when he went back to the Falcon moniker, the Captain America moniker went right back to Steve Rogers. So what was the use of putting him in that role anyway if you're going to revert him right back to the moniker he had before? Just elevate the moniker. Let's keep going.
Sales, despite the fact that the story was exceedingly good. And so the reality was, people don't care about Sam Wilson as Falcon when it's just Sam Wilson by himself, right? They care about Sam Wilson when he's either Captain America or playing alongside Captain America.
The reason why they only cared about Captain America at that particular time and Sam Wilson being Captain America is because the controversy that came with it. And the comic readers want to see where the story goes. But there was more controversy, so what happens? Controversy sells. So when you look at it, it was a double-edged sword for Marvel to be able to put this character in that prominent role as Captain America and to see what the backlash was going to be for the comic reader.
The third aspect and the third direction people were coming from is that they simply just didn't want things to change, right? That things were a certain way, Steve Rogers was Captain America, is what they were used to, and they just wanted it to stay that way. In terms of, any kind of ratio or percentages, like whether, it's like a 70 and 20-10 split between like racists and then people who didn't want change versus people who were, wanted Sam Wilson to have stories that were beefed up. I don't know. Like, I don't really know what that ratio was. And honestly, I don't really care what it is. The reality is that was just kind of the three directions with regards to a lot of the backlash that were coming from this. Now, as it was, the stories with Sam Wilson as Captain America.
All right, so I'm going to end this portion here. You can go back and you watch the video. It's going to be linked in the comments in the description of this video, so you can actually see where I'm coming from on this. All right, so what did you guys think about this video from Rob from Comics Explained? What did you think about my reaction? Was I right? Was I wrong? Put it in the comment section below and let me know what you think. But of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe power, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Where's my outro at? I gotta go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Huh. Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.